First up is a way to restore Shadowheart's memories with the Noblestalk and still keep it to use it again for other uses, such as giving it to Derryth Bonecloak so that you can have even more in Act 3. Now the reason this is awesome is because if you successfully persuade Shadowheart to eat the Noblestalk, this will progress her personal quest, Daughter of Darkness, which is fun to explore. But usually by having Shadowheart consume it, you're locked out of using the Noblestalk for anything else, such as restoring a Dark Urge memory or giving it to one of the Bonecloaks. But using this trick, you can keep the Noblestalk after having Shadowheart, quote, consume it. Now to do this, safely retrieve the Noblestalk from the Bibberbang Grotto by using Glut. Then, once you have it, you can talk to Shadowheart and progress her personal story by asking to know more about her. When you press her for more, she'll say she literally doesn't know anymore, and that's when you can learn about her erased memories. You can then suggest the Noblestalk to her, which requires you to pass a persuasion or intimidation check. Once you've reached these dialogue options, before you attempt the roll, just switch to another character and drop the Noblestalk on the ground. Now this will let you progress through this dialogue and her personal quest, but still have the Noblestalk to use for some other purpose, such as restoring a Dark Urge memory or giving it to Derryth. Now it's a totally neat trick that's worth doing because you basically are doubling the effectiveness of your Noblestalk, letting you kind of get two things progressed for the cost of a single Noblestalk. And next up is how to bring a Sussur bloom outside of the Underdark. Now to do this, all you need to do is throw a Sussur bloom while Scratch is around and he will pick it up and start bringing it to you. But right before he returns it to you, you'll need to take a waypoint outside of the Underdark, and just like that, you now have a Sussur bloom outside of the Underdark. Now I've noticed this only works for Act 1 waypoints. If you choose an Act 2 waypoint, then the bloom will fade into a petal and then it loses that amazing anti-magic property. Now typically you'd use the Sussur bloom to deactivate the constructs protecting the Grimforge, or perhaps in the Arcane Tower completely incapacitating them, but with this trick you'll be able to create a silencing field wherever you want, although you do need to drag the bloom wherever you want it, because if you pick it up it will immediately wither and then it doesn't have that anti-magic property. Now a niche use case for this is you could use it on the Hag, since she's near the waypoint and usually, she uses a lot of spells, usually to escape. So you could probably kind of cheese the Hag fight by bringing a Sussur bloom to her, and then the fight would be so much easier because of it. And next up is a message from this video sponsor, Hero Wars. Thanks to an epic collaboration between Paramount Pictures and Nexters, your favorite heroes in a half shell are joining the world of Dominion. And believe me, this is way more than just a new character drop. This is an all-out adventure you won't want to miss. From December 2nd through December 22nd, Hero Wars is running a special event featuring the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Discover their journey into Dominion, unlock their secrets, and fight alongside these iconic heroes. Don't miss your chance to bring the Turtles into your squad for free. Yep, you heard that right. The Ninja Turtles can be yours without costing you a dime. But that's not all. Make sure to be on the lookout for incredible limited time offers, including the exclusive Shredder and Casey Jones skins that'll power up your heroes like never before. With a boatload of bonuses and unique rewards waiting for you, this is the event you've been waiting for. But you'll need to act fast. Time is running out. Turtles will be available to obtain only during this event, and once you get them in your team, they'll stay with you forever. Mark your calendars, rally your friends, and join in. You can jump into the action however you'd like. Download Hero Wars on iOS or Android for adventure on the go, or play it right from your browser. And might I add, it is impressive how fast you can jump into the action. Right when you open your browser to play, the action immediately starts, which is very refreshing, and the character artwork looks great. So don't wait, this is one adventure you won't want to miss. Click the link or scan the QR code now to start playing Hero Wars with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And next up is a secret bonus that isn't listed on a very rare piece of equipment. The rarely found Ring of Feywild Sparks actually has a hidden bonus on it. The ring reads, while your sorceress Tides of Chaos feature is active, you will always trigger Wild Magic Surge when casting spells. And that's all the ring says. So you might think it's useless for anyone who is not a Wild Magic sorcerer. However, it actually also secretly increases your spell save DC by 1. By testing casting a spell that requires a save and having your target succeed that saving throw, you can actually see that the ring is adding +1 to spell save DC. You can also compare your chance of success with said spell by equipping and unequipping the ring and seeing your chance of success go up and down respectively. It would be nice if the ring actually listed this, but now you know, and this ring can probably actually start being used in some caster builds. And next up is secret dialogue that most players missed when using a hidden method to sneak into Wyrm's Rock. Now to activate this, all you need to do is head to Sharess's Caress and talk to the bartender. She'll talk about her new drink that packs a punch, and if you choose the dialogue option that you want to try the drink, you'll get a free sample. Then you'll need to drink Hoots Hooch until you get the condition Blackout, which has about a 10% chance of happening, so you might need to drink quite a few, and she only stocks 3, so there's a pretty good chance that most players didn't get the blackout condition on their first round of drinks. On top of that, you also need to have not already explored Wyrm's Rock. But if you meet both of these conditions, then the next thing you know, you'll be inside of Wyrm's Rock prison, and Fist Ivorist will approach you and tell you that you're going to be locked up for a very long time for what you did while you were drunk. This is super rare dialogue that most players probably missed, since all those conditions had to be just perfect in order to get it. And next up is how to get Phalar Aluve without any dialogue checks. Now to do this, all you need to do is shed some blood while near the blade. Now if you've previously passed the intelligence dialogue check on the blade, you'll know that this is actually the ritual required for the blade to be released. So knowing this beforehand, you can either bash your character with another party member or use some type of self-damaging action such as blood sacrifice found on the ritual dagger Abdurak is holding within the Shattered Sanctum. And then once blood is shed, the sword will begin glowing, and you can simply just click on it to retrieve it without having any dialogue checks at all, and the sword will be yours. And next up is how to hear Doni's voice. This tiefling child only makes soft grunting noises, but there is actually a way to hear what his voice truly sounds like. Triggering this is actually really difficult and took me many tries. To do it, you'll need to talk to Doni when you first enter the grove, and when he escapes through the secret entrance, just ignore it. Make sure not to try to discover it on your own. Then go save Arabella and Murkon down by the river, and Murkon will then tell you to seek out Doni. When you go to see him again, you can ask him where he disappeared to last time you talked to him, and from there, if you have detect thoughts, you'll gain the option to read his mind. When you do, you'll hear his voice in his own head talking about how he wants to get back into the hideout where it's dark and safe. Now it's pretty amazing, since this appears to be the only way to ever hear Doni's voice. Also, if you're interested in Doni's story, go to the Festering Cove. There's actually a message in a bottle which is written by Doni to his father, and in the letter he explains that he stole the paper from the druids, which is why they're probably mad at them, and then that he read in a book that all rivers flow to the Styx, which is why he thinks that this message will reach his father. He also writes in this message in a bottle that he hopes his father will write back, and he hopes that he'll meet him in Baldur's Gate. And next up is the Plagued Ship in Act 3. If you fail a Constitution saving throw, you're immediately afflicted with Sea Plague, which reads, beaded in a drip with thick oily sweat, the affected entity has disadvantage on checks, saving throws, and attack rolls using strength. Now this ship also most notably contains a secret cursed imp that only appears when you try to open a gilded chest on board. The imp has a crazy condition called Caustic Retort, which deals triple the damage caused to the imp back at the attacker. Now as you can imagine, you're dealing a lot of damage by Act 3, and you can easily one-shot yourself against this imp. And since this is the only place this condition even exists, it can take many players by surprise, possibly even ending an honor run. Now to find the ship, you'll need to head to the Grey Harbor docks in the lower city and head directly south. You'll eventually encounter some rundown boardwalks and a barricade along with a sign saying quarantine near the ship. Break down the barricade and the secret ship is all yours. And while there aren't really any good items on the ship, you can read the notes of the crew and uncover that a couple crewmates, both the captain and shipmate Jorkins, made deals with a hag that they had discovered when they landed on Crone Island. The captain made a deal for gold, but we don't know for sure what Jorkins' deal was involved with, but either way, we know that they all got sick and that the cursed imp was surely the hag's doing. And next up is a secret interaction with Minthara. If you didn't slay Minthara in Act 1 and then save her from being erased in the basement of Moonrise Towers, then you can have her join your party. But you'll need to always be near Minthara in case you trigger a dialogue check where a guard is asking about her. However, if you change Minthara's class to a druid and then shapeshift before entering Moonrise Towers, you'll be able to freely move throughout Moonrise Towers without ever triggering any dialogue checks whatsoever, which is very liberating. And if you ever wanted to bring Minthara with you to Act 1, you can simply do that by having her shapeshift. This works because Minthara interrupts you, trying to change zones with dialogue about how there's work that needs to be done in Act 2, and that she won't leave. But if she's in a wild shape, she's unable to talk, so this actually works perfectly to get her to actually just go with you to Act 1, and if you ever wanted to have Minthara in Act 1, there isn't any particular dialogue, but it's kind of cool having her around. And next up is a hidden interaction most players probably miss with the Duergar out on Ebonlake. So we all know that if you push Corsair Greyman off the boat, he'll die and you'll lose all of the awesome loot that he has. However, the other Duergar, when pushed off the boat, will actually wash up on the shore of the Blighted Village, near the southern pier to be exact. Which, by the way, you can actually also dock dock there if you take a different boat from the Grimforge going back, but choosing the shove option with Corsair Greyman, even though it's tempting, is probably not the best choice if you want some of the items Corsair Greyman sells, which includes some really great items like Bow of the Banshee and Jorgarl's Greatsword. Also, traders in general are great to keep alive since they generate gold and new stock for you to sell your junk, and you might even get some potions or elixirs, so generally I try not to kill traders. And next up is a secret location within Wyrm's Lookout. This is a campsite that only appears during the transition from Act 2 to Act 3, so most players probably didn't explore this particular spot in its entirety, which when you go to this particular spot, a different song will actually start playing than the usual. The location is on the northmost point of camp overlooking Baldur's Gate. When you bring your character there, the song I Want to Live will start playing with lyrics, and it's actually a great view and the song fits perfectly, and since it only activates when you stand right on the edge, it's probably something that most players missed.